You know what's wild? Some of the most painful battles you'll ever fight won't be against enemies you see coming. They'll be against the people you thought would stand beside you. They'll be the ones who smile to your face but slice your heart behind your back. And if you're not grounded, if you don't own your emotional power, you'll find yourself living reactively instead of powerfully. But today, I want to give you 3 ways to stay strong around hurtful people, 3 ways to rise when others try to pull you down, to stand firm when the world tries to shake you. 1, don't take the poison personally. When someone throws negativity at you, criticism, gossip, judgment, they're not describing you, they're exposing themselves. People project what they carry. If they're filled with pain, they spill pain. If they're consumed by insecurity, they spread insecurity. And here's the trap. You start thinking, maybe it's me. Maybe I really am what they... No, stop. You've got to remember this truth. Their words don't define your worth. You can't drink poison and expect them to die. Every time you absorb their energy, you're letting them rent space in your mind, rent-free. Let it bounce off. Let it go. You're not required to accept every invitation to conflict. So the next time someone tries to tear you down, smile inside and think, thank you for revealing your wounds, but I'm not picking them up. Because strength isn't loud, it's control. It's the ability to walk away without the need to prove, defend, or attack. 2, use their hurt to build your muscle. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Hurtful people are your greatest teachers. You want to grow, you want to evolve, you need resistance. Just like your body gets stronger when you lift weights, your spirit grows stronger when you lift through pain. Every cruel word, every betrayal, every disappointment, it's resistance training for your soul. It's developing your emotional muscle. Think about it. Diamonds are created under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. Warriors are forged in battle. So when life hands you that painful encounter, when someone disrespects you, underestimates you, betrays you, don't collapse. Ask yourself, what strength is this moment trying to build in me? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's self-control. Maybe it's compassion. Whatever it is, don't waste the pain, use it. Because every time you rise above it, you prove to yourself, I'm unbreakable. 3, stay rooted in your own power. You can't control other people, but you can own your energy. You can decide what frequency you live on. Hurtful people thrive on reaction. They feed on your chaos. The moment you match their energy, they've won. But when you stay calm, grounded, centered, when you stay connected to your higher self, they lose their grip on you. So how do you stay rooted? You build rituals that protect your peace. You start your day with gratitude, not gossip. You remind yourself who you are before the world tells you who you're not. You stop waiting for external validation and anchor yourself in internal certainty. Look, when you know your worth, when you've seen your own growth, when you understand your divine value, no insult, no rejection, no betrayal can shake you. You stop dancing for acceptance. You stop begging for approval. You simply stand. And standing in your truth, that's power. So if you're surrounded by hurtful people right now, if you're walking through betrayal, criticism, or rejection, remember this. You don't have to become like them to survive. You don't have to shrink to fit their comfort zone. You don't have to match their darkness to prove your strength. Because real strength is peace. Real power is restraint. And real victory is walking away still loving yourself. So today, make this decision. I will not let the smallness of others shrink the greatness within me. I will rise, I will grow, I will stay strong. Because the moment you stop letting hurtful people control your emotions, that's the moment you step into your true power. When someone says something that cuts deep, when they criticize you, gossip about you, or try to make you feel small, your natural reaction is to defend yourself, to fight back, to prove them wrong. But here's the truth. Every time you react to their negativity, you hand them your power. You let their emotions dictate yours. You let their words decide your worth. And that's how you start drinking their poison. You take it personally, thinking it's about you, when in reality, it's about them. People can only project what's inside them. Hurt people hurt people. Insecure people criticize. Bitter people spread bitterness. Angry people lash out because they haven't dealt with their pain. So when they target you, they're not seeing you clearly. They're looking through the lens of their own wounds. The poison they throw is the reflection of the chaos within them. But the trap is believing that you somehow deserve it, that what they say has any truth about who you are. You can't control how people treat you, but you can absolutely control how you interpret it and how you let it affect your energy. There's a huge difference between feedback and projection. Feedback helps you grow, it's constructive, it's rooted in love or respect. Projection, on the other hand, is poison disguised as opinion. When you take it personally, you start to absorb their dysfunction. It's like someone handing you a glass of poison, and instead of setting it down, you take a sip thinking you'll somehow fix it. No. You can't heal someone else's pain by swallowing it. You can't help someone see the light by dimming your own. When you take what they say personally, you start to replay it in your mind. You start to internalize it. You question yourself. You begin to shrink your light to make them comfortable. And slowly, their energy starts living rent-free in your head. You find yourself replaying conversations, overanalyzing every word, wondering what you did wrong, when in truth, their actions were never about you. You were just the mirror that reflected what they refused to face within themselves. When you stop taking things personally, you break the cycle of emotional slavery. You become untouchable, not because you don't feel, but because you understand that your peace is sacred. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You start seeing their behavior for what it really is, a symptom of their pain, not a verdict on your value. Imagine walking into a room where someone throws negativity your way, and instead of flinching or fighting, you just breathe. You recognize it as noise. You don't absorb it. You let it pass through. That's emotional freedom. It's not suppression. It's mastery. You stop letting people rent space in your soul. You stop being a sponge for their toxicity. You build a wall of awareness that filters what deserves to enter your spirit and what doesn't. Think about how much energy you lose when you take things personally. Every harsh comment becomes a wound. Every misunderstanding becomes a storm. Every piece of gossip becomes a mountain of overthinking. But when you detach, you reclaim that energy. You take it back and redirect it towards something that builds you instead of breaks you. The next time someone criticizes you, instead of defending yourself, pause and observe. Ask yourself, is this coming from love or from pain? If it's pain, it's not yours to carry. You can't take offense from a place that was never grounded in truth. The people who speak out of jealousy or resentment are only showing you where they are emotionally. Their reactions have nothing to do with your worth, your value, or your potential. There will be times when people will misjudge you, misunderstand you, or even lie about you. They'll twist your actions or words because your light threatens the shadows they refuse to face. But you don't have to chase explanations or vindication. Truth doesn't need defense. Time always exposes the root of intention. When you rise above it, when you remain calm and grounded, you send a message without speaking a word. You are not for destruction. You are for peace. You are not here to match their low frequency. You are here to elevate your own. Taking things personally is like handing someone the keys to your peace and saying, drive wherever you want. And often, they'll drive recklessly because they don't even know how to handle their own pain. You must be the one to take back those keys. You must set emotional boundaries so clear that no matter what's thrown at you, you remain centered. You don't absorb what isn't aligned with your truth. This doesn't mean you become cold or detached from others. It means you become deeply aware of what belongs to you and what doesn't. You learn to respond, not react. Reactions come from emotion, but responses come from awareness. The moment you stop reacting to every insult or jab, you start mastering your emotional state. You gain the ability to stay calm in chaos, and that's when your strength becomes unshakable. It's not about pretending that words don't sting. They do, but you train your mind to see through them. You tell yourself, this isn't about me. This is a reflection of their pain. And when you do that consistently, their power over you dissolves. You'll notice something incredible happens. Their words start to lose their grip. Their actions no longer trigger you. You can stand in the middle of negativity and still feel peace inside because you've chosen not to drink the poison. This is how you stay strong when people try to bring you down. You build emotional armor not by becoming hard, but by becoming wise. You see beyond the attack and understand the root. You stop expecting broken people to act whole. You stop expecting people drowning in insecurity to celebrate your confidence. You stop expecting peace from those who haven't found it within themselves. When you realize that, you no longer need to defend yourself. You no longer need to prove your worth. Their opinion doesn't define your identity. Their rejection doesn't lower your value, and their words don't dictate your destiny. You start living free, clear, and grounded. You stop letting external chaos decide your internal peace. You rise above the poison, detached but not disconnected, strong but not hard, peaceful but powerful. Pain is one of life's greatest paradoxes. It can either destroy you or develop you. The difference lies in how you respond to it. When people hurt you, when they betray your trust, when they criticize you unfairly or make you feel less than, it's easy to fall into the trap of resentment and victimhood. But what if you could turn that pain into your training ground? What if every hurtful person who crosses your path isn't there to break you, but to build you? Growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in resistance. Just like your body builds strength by pushing against weight, your mind and spirit grow by pushing through pressure. The people who challenge your peace, the ones who trigger your emotions, are unknowingly strengthening your inner resilience. They're forcing you to develop the muscle of control, patience, and emotional intelligence. When someone disrespects you or underestimates you, your first instinct might be to react. You want to correct them, prove them wrong, or show them your worth. But the real power comes from not reacting. It comes from learning to channel that energy into progress instead of pain. When someone says you can't, you let that fuel your fire to show that you can. When they reject you, you use that rejection as redirection. You understand that their hurtful behavior is actually an invitation for you to evolve. Every time someone tries to tear you down, the universe is giving you a chance to rise higher. The more resistance you face, the stronger you become if you choose growth over bitterness. You cannot build emotional strength without going through emotional pressure. The person who walks through betrayal learns discernment. The person who faces criticism learns confidence. The person who endures rejection learns self-worth. Every challenge is a hidden teacher in disguise. You've got to start seeing your pain differently. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in perspective changes everything. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a student of life, the power returns to your hands. You stop letting hurtful people define your identity and start letting them refine your character. Maybe they were placed in your path not to harm you, but to harden your resolve, to push you into your purpose, to strengthen your spirit so that when the next level of your life comes, you're ready for it. You can't lead if you're easily offended. You can't influence if you're easily broken. Life will keep sending you situations that test your composure until you've mastered it. That's how growth works. It repeats lessons until you've learned what you need to learn. So when hurtful people show up, see them as resistance trainers for your soul. Every jab, every criticism, every backhanded comment, it's a weight added to your spiritual gym. You're lifting it not with your body, but with your self-awareness. The heavier it feels, the stronger you're becoming. Some people are sent to stretch your patience, others to test your compassion, some to teach you detachment, and others simply to show you what you no longer need to tolerate. But all of them are building something inside you. You're developing emotional stamina, spiritual endurance, and mental toughness. You're learning how to stay calm in the storm, how to love without losing yourself, how to forgive without allowing access again, how to move forward without bitterness. Every painful encounter is shaping you into a more powerful version of yourself. Think about the times you've gone through heartbreak, betrayal, humiliation, or failure. Look at who you became after that. You gained depth, empathy, understanding, resilience. You learn things about yourself you never would have discovered without that pain. That's what hurtful people do. They force you to dig deeper into your strength. They force you to find power you didn't know existed. The more pain you faced, the more proof you have that you can survive anything. You start to realize that nothing anyone does to you can truly break you unless you let it. You've already made it through days you thought would end you. You've already carried weight you thought would crush you. So what's one more insult? What's one more disappointment? You're not fragile, you're forged. You have to start using their hurt as your momentum. When someone criticizes you, instead of letting it wound you, let it remind you of your mission. When someone doubts you, let that fuel your discipline. When someone betrays you, let that push you to trust yourself more. You can't control their actions, but you can always control your response. The most powerful revenge isn't anger, it's growth. It's building yourself so strong, so grounded, that their actions no longer have power over your emotions. You stop seeking closure from people who broke you and start creating closure by rising above them. You stop needing apologies because you realize you've already won by staying in peace. The truth is, if you never face difficult people, you'd never learn who you are. You wouldn't learn to draw boundaries to protect your energy, to value your peace. You wouldn't know how to discern between those who deserve your time and those who don't. You wouldn't have learned how to forgive without forgetting what the lesson taught you. Every challenge reveals a new layer of strength you didn't know you had. Pain becomes your greatest coach, not your greatest enemy. The more resistance you face, the more prepared you become for your destiny. You can't build the strength to carry greatness if you crumble under pressure. Every time you overcome an insult without losing your peace, you grow stronger. Every time you rise above gossip and stay focused on your path, you grow wiser. Every time you refuse to let bitterness harden your heart, you grow freer. People who operate from pain want you to join them in it. They provoke you because misery loves company. They want you to lower your vibration to match theirs. But if you recognize that their behavior is their burden, not your reflection, you rise above it. You stay calm, composed, centered. You learn to transmute their negativity into focus. You take that same energy they tried to use to break you and turn it into drive. That's how champions are made. Every scar becomes a source of strength. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every hurt becomes hunger. And one day, the very things that once made you cry will become the reason you can stand and say, I made it through that and it made me stronger. You don't need to avoid hurtful people to grow. You just need to stop giving them control over your spirit. You can be around negativity and not absorb it. You can face betrayal and still believe in love. You can walk through rejection and still know your value. Because strength isn't about what happens around you, it's about what you choose to build within you. Every moment of pain is an opportunity to grow thicker skin without growing a colder heart. It's a chance to prove to yourself that you can't be shaken by small minds or broken by temporary storms. When you use their hurt as your resistance training, you transform pain into progress, struggle into strength, and wounds into wisdom. Staying rooted in your own power begins with one simple but profound understanding. You are the only one responsible for your energy. The world will try to pull you in every direction. People will project their insecurities, and negativity will always find a way to test your peace. But the moment you learn to protect your inner state, you become untouchable. Hurtful people thrive on reaction. They look for cracks in your peace because your reaction feeds their need for control. When they see they can get under your skin, they feel powerful. But when you remain centered, calm, and unshaken, they lose their influence. Your strength comes from your stillness, not from the noise you make. When you're rooted in your power, you stop giving emotional permission to everyone around you. You decide how much of your peace others are allowed to disturb. You stop letting every insult, argument, or judgment dictate your mood. You take ownership of your emotional landscape and build boundaries so strong that no storm can uproot your calm. The first step to staying rooted in your power is awareness. You have to become conscious of your triggers, of the moments when you feel yourself slipping into reaction mode. Maybe it's the way someone talks down to you, maybe it's their tone, or maybe it's when they ignore you intentionally. Whatever it is, the second you recognize it, pause. That pause is your power. It's the space between stimulus and response where growth happens. Instead of reacting impulsively, you breathe. You remind yourself that their behavior is a reflection of them, not a statement about you. In that moment of stillness, you reclaim your control. You realize that your emotions don't belong to them, they belong to you. No one has the right to hijack your peace unless you hand it over, willingly. And when you learn to hold that emotional line, you stop living in reaction to other people's chaos. You start living from intention, not impulse. Every day, you're going to encounter energy that tries to pull you off balance. It might be someone at work, someone in your family, someone online, or even a stranger. You can't control their behavior, but you can control how you process it. When you're grounded, you stop meeting chaos with chaos. You become the calm in the storm instead of being swept away by it. People will notice it too. They'll sense something different about you. You'll no longer be easily provoked or thrown off by negativity because you've built roots that run deep. Trees that have deep roots don't fear the wind. They bend but don't break. The same is true for you. When your roots are deep in purpose, in self-worth, and faith, you stop fearing what people say or do. You might bend under pressure, but you won't break. The second part of staying rooted in your power is discipline. Power doesn't come from one moment of clarity. It comes from consistent practice. You have to train your mind to return to peace over and over again, especially when it's hard. You can't just hope to be calm when chaos hits. You prepare for it. You create habits that keep you grounded. Start your mornings with intention. Before the world can speak to you, you speak to yourself. Fill your mind with words that empower you, not noise that drains you. Maybe it's prayer, meditation, journaling, or just a few deep breaths of gratitude. Whatever it is, it becomes your emotional armor for the day. You walk into the world already centered, already grounded, already aware that no matter what happens, your peace isn't negotiable. Throughout the day, you stay mindful of your energy. You pay attention to how people make you feel. Some conversations drain you. Some environments deplete you. And some relationships quietly consume your peace. Being rooted means being aware of these energy exchanges and choosing where you invest yourself. You stop chasing people who constantly hurt you. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop trying to win over people who have no intention of seeing your value. When you're rooted, you no longer seek validation from outside sources. You know who you are, and that's enough. You learn to say no without guilt, to walk away without anger, and to protect your energy without apology. One of the hardest things about staying rooted in your power is that hurtful people will try to pull you into their storm. They'll provoke you just to see if they can make you lose your composure. They'll twist your words, question your intentions, and push your buttons because they can't stand the strength of your calm. But this is where mastery comes in. You don't match their energy, you maintain your own. You rise above it not because you're weak, but because you're wise. You understand that reacting only binds you to their drama. You realize that peace is the loudest response you can give. You're not responsible for correcting their perception of you. You're only responsible for maintaining your truth. When you stay rooted in your power, your silence becomes your strength. You stop wasting words on people who don't want to understand. You stop fighting battles that don't deserve your energy. You stop giving time to situations that don't grow you. And most importantly, you stop giving emotional access to those who've proven they'll misuse it. Staying rooted doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're strategic. You know when to speak, when to walk away, and when to let silence speak for you. You know your value and no longer need to prove it through conflict. Your energy is your currency. Every time you react to negativity, you're spending it on something that gives you no return. Staying rooted means investing that energy into your growth. Instead of arguing with someone who's trying to tear you down, you go build something that lifts you up. Instead of trying to change people who don't want to change, you focus on becoming someone who inspires change just by being yourself. Instead of feeding drama, you feed your peace. And over time, you notice how much stronger you feel. You stop depending on others for emotional stability. You stop being shaken by every opinion or rejection. You become self-sustaining, self-anchored, and self-empowered. There's something magnetic about a person who is calm, confident, and centered. They don't chase validation. They don't need to prove their worth. They walk with quiet power, knowing who they are. That's the kind of strength that can't be faked. It comes from alignment with your purpose, your values, your faith, your peace. When you're aligned, you can be surrounded by chaos and still remain steady. You can face criticism without shrinking, betrayal without bitterness, and opposition without losing yourself. That's true power, not control over others, but control over yourself. Every day is an opportunity to practice staying rooted. The more you do it, the stronger you get. At first, it might be hard. You'll want to respond. You'll want to prove your point. You'll feel that rush of emotion when someone disrespects you. But the moment you pause and choose peace, you build strength. One choice at a time, one situation at a time, you're training your spirit to stand tall no matter what's thrown at you. You're creating a life that's not dictated by other people's moods or opinions, but by your own internal compass. When you're rooted in your own power, you don't need to chase closure, revenge, or validation. You don't need to explain your worth to anyone. You stop giving your peace away in exchange for temporary satisfaction. You stay grounded in truth, centered in calm, and focused on growth. You start realizing that you are the source of your own stability, and no amount of external chaos can change that. Hurtful people can surround you, negativity can test you, storms can come, but when your roots are deep, nothing can move you. Protecting your peace through daily grounding rituals is not just a strategy, it's a necessity for anyone who wants to thrive in a world filled with negativity and conflict. The truth is, life is full of situations and people that will try to steal your focus, drain your energy, and disrupt your inner calm. Every day, you're faced with opportunities for distraction, criticism, and chaos. The difference between people who crumble under pressure and those who rise above it isn't luck, it's ritual. It's the consistent practice of taking care of your mind, body, and spirit so that you remain anchored no matter what surrounds you. Grounding rituals are like the roots of a tree. They keep you connected to stability, nourishment, and growth. Without them, you're susceptible to being blown around by every wind of opinion, conflict, or drama. But when you invest in these rituals, you create a fortress for your peace, and that fortress allows you to respond to life with clarity, strength, and power instead of chaos. The first step in creating grounding rituals is awareness. You must recognize the moments when your energy is being drained. Maybe it's the way someone constantly criticizes you at work. Maybe it's a family member who undermines your confidence. Or maybe it's the constant noise from social media that pulls you into comparison and self-doubt. Whatever it is, awareness is key. You cannot protect what you do not recognize. Start noticing when you feel tension, irritation, or heaviness in your chest or mind. That is your signal that your energy is being compromised. Once you are aware, you can begin to take deliberate actions to protect and restore your peace. This is where rituals come into play. Grounding rituals are intentional practices that center your mind, calm your body, and stabilize your emotions. They are your tools for reclaiming control over your inner state no matter what's happening around you. One of the most powerful grounding rituals is the practice of stillness. Stillness doesn't require hours of meditation or elaborate routines. Even 5 minutes of quiet, intentional breathing can create profound stability in your day. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Feel it moving in and out of your body. Let thoughts pass without clinging to them. In that short moment of silence, you're reminding your mind that you are the observer, not the reactor. You are creating space between stimulus and response, and that space is where power resides. The more you practice stillness, the more resilient you become. You learn to respond from a place of clarity instead of reacting from a place of emotion. Another key ritual is intentional reflection. Take time each day to reflect on your goals, values, and purpose. When you are rooted in why you exist and what you're here to accomplish, the opinions and actions of others lose their grip on you. Reflection allows you to recalibrate. It reminds you that your worth isn't determined by external approval and that your peace is not negotiable. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Write down your thoughts, your gratitude, your challenges, and your victories. When you put pen to paper, you externalize the noise and gain clarity. You see patterns, recognize triggers, and remind yourself of your strengths and progress. Reflection strengthens your emotional and mental resilience because it forces you to confront your reality consciously rather than letting it unconsciously control you. Physical grounding is equally important. Your body and mind are deeply connected, and when your body is tense or neglected, your mind follows suit. Daily movement, whether it's stretching, walking, yoga, or exercise, releases tension, increases energy flow, and stabilizes your nervous system. Physical activity helps you release stress and provides a sense of control over your own body. Nutrition, hydration, and sleep also play crucial roles. When you fuel your body with care, you create a strong foundation for emotional resilience. A grounded body supports a grounded mind, and together, they form the basis for unwavering peace. Energy management is another essential component of grounding rituals. You must become intentional about what you allow into your energy field. This means setting boundaries with people, environments, and media. If someone consistently drains you or creates chaos in your life, you must limit their access to your energy. This isn't selfish, it's strategic. Protecting your peace allows you to function at your highest level and prevents the exhaustion and distraction that comes from constant exposure to negativity. It also means curating your media consumption. The news, social media, and entertainment you consume directly impact your mindset. Choose content that uplifts, educates, or inspires rather than content that agitates, depresses, or manipulates you. The rituals of energy management are subtle but incredibly powerful because they ensure that you are operating from a state of strength rather than being constantly reactive. Gratitude is another ritual that cannot be underestimated. Every day, intentionally focus on what you are thankful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from chaos to clarity. When you practice gratitude consistently, you train your mind to see what is working rather than what is broken. You create a lens through which the world is viewed with possibility rather than fear. Gratitude also diminishes the power of hurtful people because it anchors your mind in the positive aspects of your life instead of allowing negativity to dominate your thoughts. It's a small but mighty practice that rewires your perception and fortifies your emotional resilience. Rituals also include preparation for the day ahead. Starting your morning with intention sets the tone for how you respond to challenges. Whether it's through meditation, affirmations, visualization, or planning, your morning routine becomes your shield against chaos. When you begin the day aligned, centered, and grounded, the words and actions of others have far less ability to shake you. You carry a calm confidence into interactions, and even when confronted with negativity, you maintain clarity and composure. Your grounded state allows you to navigate difficult situations with grace and strategy rather than reactionary emotion. Evening rituals are just as critical. Taking time to decompress, reflect, and release the tensions of the day ensures that you don't carry emotional baggage into tomorrow. This can include meditation, reading, journaling, or quiet reflection. You process your experiences, acknowledge your emotions, and intentionally let go of what no longer serves you. When you consistently practice evening grounding rituals, you wake up refreshed, focused, and ready to face the day without carrying unnecessary emotional weight. The discipline of daily grounding, morning, midday, and evening, creates an unshakable foundation for your peace. Rituals also extend to the relationships you cultivate. Surround yourself with people who uplift, encourage, and challenge you in healthy ways. Limit exposure to individuals who constantly bring negativity or drama. Protecting your peace includes curating your social environment. Engage with those who support your growth and distance yourself from those who drain your energy. It's not about cutting people off harshly. It's about prioritizing your emotional health and creating boundaries that maintain your grounded state. The people you allow close to you can either strengthen your peace or destabilize it. And being intentional about this is a form of daily practice. Finally, remember that consistency is key. Grounding rituals are not a one-time fix, they are a lifestyle. The more consistently you practice these rituals, the more resilient, strong, and grounded you become. Over time, these habits create a baseline of inner stability that is unshakable. You learn to navigate life's challenges with ease, respond to hurtful people with grace, and maintain your focus on what truly matters. You become the calm in the storm, the unmovable force that others either respect or cannot affect. Daily grounding rituals give you the tools to operate from a place of power, not reaction, and that power transforms every area of your life. Walking away with grace is one of the most powerful acts you can master when dealing with hurtful people. It's a skill that requires awareness, courage, and a deep understanding of your own worth. Many people think that strength comes from fighting back, from proving themselves right, or from retaliating against those who have wronged them. But true strength is often silent, calm, and rooted in self-respect. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It's a declaration that your peace is more important than proving a point. When someone hurts you, when they criticize, betray, or manipulate, you have a choice. Engage in their chaos or rise above it. The act of walking away allows you to preserve your energy, protect your emotional well-being, and maintain the dignity that can never be taken from you unless you surrender it. Many people struggle with walking away because they equate it with giving up. They think that by stepping back, they are losing the battle, losing face, or allowing the other person to win. But the reality is the opposite. Walking away is taking control. It is refusing to let someone else dictate your emotional state. It is recognizing that some battles are not meant to be fought, that some people are not meant to be changed, and that some conflicts are not worth the cost of your peace. When you walk away with grace, you show that your value does not depend on approval, recognition, or validation from others. You show that your integrity and your emotional sovereignty are non-negotiable. Walking away gracefully begins with self-awareness. You must know your triggers, understand the patterns of hurtful behavior around you, and recognize when a situation is no longer serving your growth or well-being. This requires reflection and honesty. Ask yourself, is engaging in this conflict going to improve my life, or is it only going to drain me? Often, the answer is clear when you pause and evaluate. You can't control the actions of others, but you can control your response. Choosing to disengage is a conscious act of self-preservation. It is an acknowledgement that your energy is valuable, that your time is finite, and that you refuse to spend it on battles that are unproductive or toxic. Grace is the key to walking away in a way that preserves your dignity and reinforces your strength. Walking away doesn't mean slamming doors, shouting, or burning bridges. It means leaving with composure, with understanding, and with calm assurance. It means refusing to meet negativity with negativity, choosing instead to rise above the petty, the cruel, and the manipulative. Grace communicates a deeper power than aggression ever could, because it demonstrates that you are not controlled by external forces. You maintain your sense of self, your clarity of mind, and your peace of heart, even in the face of provocation. Grace is magnetic. It is a quiet authority that demands respect without demanding attention. Part of walking away with grace is learning the art of detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference or a lack of care. It means separating your emotional well-being from the chaos or hostility of others. It means observing without absorbing, responding without, reacting and existing without being defined by someone else's actions. When you detach, you give yourself space to breathe, to think, and to act in alignment with your values rather than your impulses. Detachment allows you to maintain your integrity, to hold on to your peace, and to continue on your path without being sidetracked by unnecessary conflict. Walking away also requires courage. It takes strength to resist the temptation to respond, to prove yourself, or to demand justice when someone has wronged you. It's natural to feel the urge to defend yourself, to retaliate, or to correct the narrative, but courage is knowing when to step back despite that urge. It is trusting that silence and distance can be more powerful than words or confrontation. Courage in walking away is rooted in self-respect and self-confidence. It is knowing your worth and understanding that your energy and your peace are more important than winning a fleeting argument or trying to change someone who refuses to change. Another aspect of walking away with grace is forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean condoning the behavior or allowing someone continued access to your life in a harmful way. Forgiveness is about releasing the emotional burden you carry as a result of someone else's actions. Holding on to anger, resentment, or the desire for revenge keeps you tethered to the person who hurt you. Walking away is an act of forgiveness in itself because it is choosing to free yourself from the hold that person has over your emotions. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. You decide that your happiness is more important than holding on to pain or proving a point. Walking away can also inspire growth and transformation. When you remove yourself from toxic environments or hurtful relationships, you create space for personal development, clarity, and new opportunities. You redirect your energy toward things that elevate you, toward people who value and respect you, and toward experiences that build rather than deplete you. Walking away is not just an escape, it is a conscious choice to step into a life that aligns with your values and purpose. It is an act of self-empowerment that sets the tone for the kind of relationships and environments you will accept in your life going forward. The practice of walking away requires consistency and reflection. It is not a one-time act, but a skill developed through repeated decisions. Every time you choose peace over conflict, every time you step back instead of reacting, you strengthen your ability to remain grounded in the face of adversity. Over time, walking away becomes intuitive. You start to recognize toxic patterns early, identify when engagement is unnecessary, and respond with calm decisiveness rather than impulsive reaction. The habit of walking away with grace cultivates resilience, emotional intelligence, and inner strength. Walking away does not mean you are weak. It means you are strong enough. Prioritize your well-being. It does not mean you are avoiding challenges. It means you are choosing battles that matter and letting go of those that don't. Walking away does not mean you lack love or compassion. It means you love yourself enough to protect your heart. By choosing to walk away with grace, you set an example for others, demonstrating that strength is not measured by confrontation, but by control, poise, and self-respect. When you master the art of walking away, you also redefine your power. Your power is no longer derived from what you can make others see or feel. It comes from your ability to maintain peace, composure, and clarity regardless of external circumstances. You become self-reliant emotionally. You become unshakable by criticism, betrayal, or negativity. You become a person who commands respect without aggression, influence without manipulation, and presence without ego. Walking away with grace transforms your relationships, your mindset, and your life because it places control where it belongs with you. Every time you face hurtful people, remember that walking away is not surrender, it is sovereignty. It is taking responsibility for your emotional state, refusing to be dragged into drama, and asserting your right to live in peace. It is choosing dignity over insult, calm over chaos, and growth over retaliation. Walking away with grace is a practice, a mindset, and a lifestyle that protects your energy, strengthens your character, and elevates your life. It is a choice that demonstrates you are larger than the circumstances, stronger than the pain, and wiser than the conflict. When you consistently walk away with grace, you start to notice a shift in your interactions. People who previously triggered you no longer have the same impact. Situations that once caused anxiety or stress now meet you with calm awareness. Your inner voice becomes louder than the external noise. You operate from a space of clarity, purpose, alignment. Walking away teaches you that not every battle is yours to fight, not every opinion is yours to correct, and not every insult deserves your energy. It allows you to prioritize what truly matters, focus on your growth, and maintain your peace in a world that constantly challenges it. Walking away with grace becomes a personal standard, a non-negotiable boundary, and a measure of your maturity. It empowers you to live on your terms, engage with the world intentionally, and cultivate relationships that honor mutual respect. It reinforces the truth that your emotional well-being is priceless, that your energy is sacred, and that your life is too valuable to spend in unnecessary conflict. Each act of walking away reinforces your strength, sharpens your discernment, and solidifies your identity as someone who is grounded, wise, and unshakable. The act of walking away is transformative because it shifts the source of your power from external circumstances to internal mastery. It reminds you that you are in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It encourages self-respect, self-care, and self-determination. It strengthens your resilience, teaches emotional intelligence, and builds the courage to maintain boundaries without guilt. Walking away with grace is the ultimate form of self-empowerment, the conscious choice to rise above negativity, and the embodiment of true strength.